Hi beautiful souls, it's Tan here again with you on this Astrology, Human Design and Gene Keys channel. And today we're going to be doing the first video in our series looking at the 3 human design body graphs, or 2 if you have 2 of them. One of them is going to be the tropical human design body graph that's based on tropical astrology. The second one is going to be based on the sidereal Fagan-Bradley, or whichever sidereal system you like to use. Human design body graph, which is based on sidereal or Vedic astrology. And the last body graph is going to be based on the true sidereal astrology, true sidereal human design body graph, which has the 13 zodiac of Ophiuchus in there. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over the 3 aura types that have shown up in my 3 human design body graphs, and they're all different. And in human design, there are 5 aura types. I would consider there to be 5. There's going to be the generator, the manifesting generator, the manifester, the projector, and the reflector aura type. Each aura type has their own strategy, their own not self themes, their own success themes, we can call it, and the way that the aura sort of appears to other people. And yes, in this series, I will be talking about my personal experiences with these 3 body graphs. And before we even get started today, I want you guys to just comment below what are the different aura types that have come up for you as you pulled up the tropical, the sidereal, or the true sidereal if you have it. Just comment below and also share your experiences with the strategies or the not self and the different aspects of each of these aura types as well. Okay, so let's get started. So yes, I'm going to narrow this video down to just the aura types. So I'm going to leave out the profile, leave out the gates or even the channels, and just focus on how human design interprets each aura type to be. Okay, so yes, in tropical human design, my aura type is a projector. I'm an emotional projector, so I have a defined solar plexus. And if you've seen my last video where I explained how to use the 3 body graphs together, I look at the tropical as it being the physical body, physical aura, shall we say. In sidereal Fagan-Bradley, my aura type is an emotional manifestor type, and I look at the sidereal as being the astral or the emotional body within all of us. And in the true sidereal, which I really just recently got, in that body graph, I'm a manifesting generator aura type, and I look at the true sidereal as being the mental body. And with regards to the 7 sacred bodies, that's the theories that I'm using here. And so if you haven't seen my video on the different human design body graphs and the 7 sacred bodies, I'll post a link to that up above in the description box below, so you can just kind of catch up with that as well. The first thing I want to talk about with these 3 aura types is that I think, first of all, that it is possible for us to not just have one aura. Even if human design, even if the interpretation of aura in human design is not really the same as how other metaphysical studies would look at the interpretation of aura, because the aura part of the human design aura will look at a projector, the energy field that a projector gives off, as being absorbing and focused. They would, however, look at the manifestor energy field aura as being closed and repelling. And they would look at the manifesting generator aura field energy as being open and enveloping. So if I were to look at this part of it first, I can say that I would resonate most with having the projector energy field. So that's going to be the focus and absorbing aura on a daily basis, like when I'm not doing much of anything, or when I'm not feeling a lot of emotions, or when I'm not really trying to do much. It's just that tends to be my aura. Now, I have experienced from time to time feeling what it would be like to have that close repelling aura of the manifestor, but that tends to happen when I'm either feeling very emotional about something, and when my emotions are stirred up, what I've noticed is that there's a way in which people around me would kind of be repelled by my emotions. And so I'm going to talk about this, much more deeper throughout the video, but I have felt that. And I also experience what it would feel like to have a close and repelling aura when I'm working. When I'm very deep and absorbed into my work, I've noticed this in every job that I've been in, is that there's the energy field around me. I do feel that I keep to myself when I'm absorbed in my work. That I'm not interactive like a projector could be when they are working. But in a way, we could also say that focused and absorbing aura of the projector has caused me to have a close and repelling aura of the manifestor, like kind of combined together. For example, my colleagues, when I used to work in a type of like an office type of a setting, they wouldn't really talk to me. They would kind of go out for lunch, and sometimes I wouldn't be invited, and that's okay. I mean, because I'm very focused on my work. I didn't really feel that I wanted to even, go and have lunch with my colleagues, for example. But I know that it's not because of the fact that they didn't like me or anything like that, because you could just tell, that people do want to engage with you, they do want to talk to you, but there's something about the aura where my colleagues tend to feel like, okay, I probably should stay away from Tan because she's very absorbed in her work, so we're just gonna go out for lunch and just kind of, enjoy our time and just leave her be, or we'll just do our thing and just leave her be, kind of like that. So I felt that kind of an aura coming over me. The energy field, the aura of the manifesting generator, which is supposed to be open and enveloping, that is something that I'm not sure if I'm feeling that aura as of right now. But I do wonder if I'm using my mental body, for example, if that's how people feel about me. Okay, so my next experience regarding these three types with the energy level, I think that's something that is very common when we look at human design, is the presence of a defined or undefined sacral. And as a projector and a manifestor type, these two types don't have a defined sacral. Manifesting generators, however, have a defined sacral, and in my true sidereal, I'm a pure manifesting generator as well, meaning that I don't have a defined solar plexus, so therefore my sacral is going to be my main source of energy and how I make decisions, my authority. That has got me contemplating a lot, because what I have experienced is that when I am, like every day, I would have a lot of energy as I wake up in the morning, and I would do my work and I would get very productive. But after lunch, so around noon or 1 o'clock, whether I have lunch or I don't have lunch, because sometimes, when you have lunch, your energy is kind of being used up for digestion. But whether I have lunch or I don't have lunch, I lose energy. So I tend to get pretty fatigued and sleepy in the afternoons, and this happens every day. Okay? So as a manifesting generator type, I have friends that are manifesting generators in tropical human design in their physical body, and these people, I've not noticed that they felt sleepy in the afternoon, or that they needed to even drink coffee, or that they even needed to take naps. And that, to me, felt very different. I couldn't resonate with having that sacral energy that just kind of kept going and going and going. So therefore, it was very hard for me to connect with the fact that I could have a sacral energy in true sidereal. However, that has raised a couple of questions for me as well, because what they tend to say about generators and manifesting generators is that they have to love what they do. And if a manifesting generator type doesn't love what they do and they can't quite be in their flow, and they experience like that stuckness in the energy, they could feel tired. And now that I think about it, I do have one friend when we were in university together. She's a manifesting generator in tropical human design, and she was tired a lot. And that's because she didn't really love what she was doing. So I'm wondering if in my past experiences, the jobs that I were doing, they just were not something that was stimulating enough, and that's why I either had to drink a lot of coffee in the afternoons to prevent myself from sleeping, or even now when I'm running this astrology business, I have to take naps in the afternoon. Is it because there's still something there that has to be adjusted to really suit my energy more? I'm not sure yet. And I would like to explore a little bit more and see how I can adjust my working schedules or the way that I do my work on a daily basis. And if I can find a way for it to continuously stimulate me without having to take naps or without having to drink coffee, because if that were the case, then I can say that that sacral energy in the true sidereal of being a manifesting generator, there's something there. Otherwise, there may not be something there. Okay, now I want to go into a little bit of the strategies and the not-self themes of each of these three types. So the projector strategy is to wait for the invitation and recognition, and the not-self theme is bitterness. And the manifestor's strategy is to, well, manifestors are here to initiate, but to inform, and their not-self theme is anger. For the manifesting generator, their strategy is to wait to respond, and their not-self theme is anger and frustration. With regards to the projector strategy, I think it's actually pretty clear, because when I first discovered that I was a projector, when I first discovered human design and just only knew about the tropical human design, I think that was in 2018. And I started to decondition from that point onwards. And the first thing I did when I realized I was a projector was I felt that I should have a YouTube channel and I should get my voice out about astrology and find a platform for myself so that I could have invitations coming in. And I would consider the invitations that I have nowadays to be clients that come to me for readings. You guys, if you are interested in a reading from me, then you are inviting me into your space and you're inviting me to see you, to recognize you, and to guide, shall we say, or provide some kind of perspective into the charts that I see with your charts. So there's definitely been a lot of invitations coming in, and they come in pretty quickly. So I don't know if this fast-paced speed of having a lot of invitations coming in has something to do a little bit with my manifestor or my manifesting generator energy, because I don't feel that I am bitter at all when I don't have invitations coming in. Because the moment that I set my intention to have a platform to share my knowledge and to invite people, projectors can invite and can be invited. In that sense, it just happens. It just flows so naturally that I don't really feel like I have that bitterness coming in very much. So definitely working with this projector energy has been quite a breeze, I shall say, on many different levels. And I also remember that the reason why I got into actually like starting a website and doing chart readings in the first place, because before doing chart readings, I would just have a YouTube channel. That was it. I actually got an invitation from, I call her my guardian angel. She's this amazing Singaporean woman who invited me to have to set up a booth in a spiritual fair in Singapore. So she was sponsoring me. She paid for me to go there, set up this booth, because she knew that I was just starting out. I'm not going to be able to afford it. But that kind of pushed me into feeling like, okay, now I have an opportunity to do more chart readings, because I'm going to be getting clients now. And the people that come to the booth are going to be wanting to know if I have a website, if I have any more services. So I began to set up my website from that point onwards. And then I began to get a lot of invitations to do readings for people. However, after getting a lot of invitations to do chart readings, and I've been doing that for 2 years now, I've not found that I reached that pinnacle of the projector success theme, which is success, to be recognized and feeling successful. Somehow deep inside of me, I feel like that's not what I want. And it doesn't emotionally fulfill me. And I wonder if that's because my astral body, which I would associate with the sidereal, makes me a manifestor. Because the more invitations I got, and this is not to say that I'm going to stop doing chart readings. This is not to say that I don't enjoy doing chart readings. But this is to say that there's something missing there at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, what I felt is missing is freedom. I felt that the more invitations I got, yes, it did on a certain level made me feel a certain amount of success. But what I wanted more than success was that I wanted freedom to create whatever I wanted to create and have the freedom to do whatever I wanted to do in my business. That is not just going to be dependent on being recognized or being seen as successful. Like, that didn't matter as much to me as I thought it would on many different levels, if that kind of made sense. And so it has got me questioning, you know, the success themes of the strategy and the themes that are surrounding the manifestor type, which I can see resonating a lot more with my emotional body. And ultimately, there's this part of, you know, the themes surrounding the manifesting generator as well, of loving what you do. Yes, like manifesting generators and generators type are here to do what they love. I love what they do. And at a deeper level, I feel like somehow that would fulfill me or complete me more than to be recognized and to find success, if that makes sense. And I want to talk about the themes of the manifestor a little bit, and maybe manifesting generator as well, of frustration and anger. But I think this is mainly going to be about the manifestor themes, is how I experienced anger in my life. And with regards to my workflow, this was something that like clicked 110%. Is what I've noticed is that when I'm in the flow of my work, I'm in it. And when I've set my mind to like, okay, at 9 o'clock, let's say I'm going to do this for my work. I'm going to film, or I'm going to do a reading, or I'm going to sometimes, you know, do my art. I feel this intense sort of unstoppable energy coming over me. And when I get disturbed, when somebody, you know, is asking for something, when I'm in that flow, I can be quite angry and sometimes lash out, and some people don't know where it's coming from. And this was very intense for me, like last year in 2020, because I was working from home, but my sister was trying to renovate our house at the same time. So I was basically living in a house that was being half renovated. And so therefore it was very noisy. And, you know, the construction workers would come and they had no particular schedule. And at the same time, I, you know, didn't know when I should be filming or making chart readings. And of course, in both of these situations, I needed to speak. And I needed to speak and not have a noise in the background. Otherwise, my clients wouldn't hear me properly. But at the same time, I was not permanently living there. So I didn't want to like build some kind of soundproof walls, because the room that I was working in was also going to be renovated very close into the future, right? So there was no point in kind of like soundproofing the walls or anything. So I was like in this situation of like not having a solid foundation, shall we say, in which to work. And to be honest, I'm a little obsessed with my work. We can call it like that. But you know, I would be ready to do a reading or to film, and then suddenly there would be these noises coming in, and then I would get very angry. You know, I would go downstairs and I would be like, and my mom was kind of like, don't go out there and talk to those construction workers, just film when they're done. Or she would say something like that, but then I would be like, oh, I would feel so angry. But yes, that, you know, I can definitely resonate with the anger that comes up with being disturbed when working because of that flow being interrupted. That's something that I resonate with 110% for sure. And having an authority or a boss to work for, that is also something that is a part of a manifestor theme, in which if you are a manifestor, like you would do best as your own boss and maybe even work alone. I don't know, are any of you guys out there like a projector in one system and then a manifestor in another system? Because I feel like those two energies are really different from each other. And I know that, you know, when people first see me or when they first know me, they want to interact. You know, they want me to see into them. They want that projector energy. But I feel like I can do that, but it depends on my mood. It depends on my emotions. It depends on my feel. It depends on many different variables. And something that I'm trying to work with is how to be interactive, but have time to just be alone and just do my thing. And that's why when I do live readings for people, sometimes there was a period in 2020 where I was doing video calls with my clients, and it worked really well. But inside of me, I felt this intense energy, like I felt frustrated or angry, because I would really much prefer to record my readings in my own time and then send it to clients in my own time, rather than to have this going back and forth interaction with my clients. And I feel like a part of that does have to do with that, unpredictable manifestor workflow and energy. I also have a really interesting story that I want to share with you guys. When I was an English teacher, and I was teaching in my class, right? And there was this one day where immigration officers were checking various different educational institutions in Malaysia. I was in Malaysia at that point. And our director of studies permitted the immigration workers to come into our classroom while we were teaching to check up on the teachers. Basically, the immigration officers, what they were doing is they wanted to check our passports to make sure that every teacher there was legal, basically. And somehow the director of studies permitted the immigration officers to come in while I was teaching. And so, I was just doing my thing, and then one of the immigration officers just opened the door in my classroom and was like, "I need to see your passport." And that set me into a really I was just, as I said, no. I said, "Get out of my classroom, I'm teaching. I'm not gonna show you my passport right now." So he left. But then afterwards, I went to my director of studies and said, "How could you do this? Why couldn't you just tell them to wait and not come in while we're teaching?" And I guess I was raising my voice and I was really angry. And then the director of studies was just kind of like, "Okay, Tan, just when you have time, just show them your passport. Just get it over with. When you have time, just go give them your passport." So, and there's many different, how do I say, instances when I used to work under a boss, that there were conflicts and power struggles with me and my bosses, that at a certain point I was just kind of like, I probably do best as my own boss. Let's see how it goes. And that's when I discovered human design. I discovered that I was a projector, that I was burning out teaching English for 6 hours a day, that I didn't have the energy for that, the physical energy for that. That's what I discovered, that's when the projector messages came into my life, and it helped me a lot. So when the manifestor messages came into my life, that was also an intense moment for me. I was doing a lot of Tantra work at that point, because I was going through something in my relationship, and I had a lot of repressed anger that I was trying to use Tantra as a method of dealing with my emotions. I remember there was this one workshop in the Tantra festival that I was in that was called How to Channel Your Anger into Orgasm. And I remember that was my favorite workshop, channeling anger into orgasm, which, the not-self theme of the manifestor type is anger, and also manifesting generators can also have anger themes. So I definitely feel like those types of themes are resonating with me very strongly. Yeah, when I was doing those workshops, that was around the period that I discovered Sidereal Human Design, and that I was an emotional manifestor, and that the themes of the manifestors and not self was anger. So I felt like these systems came to me at the time when I kind of needed it the most, in very interesting ways. There is, however, one thing about the manifesting generator being my true sidereal that clicked for me, was that the reason that I became an astrologer in the first place was that I was responding, because the themes of manifesting generators to respond to my friends who kept saying to me, well, not kept, but she was saying it several times, that, Tan, when are you going to be an astrologer? At that time, I didn't talk to this particular friend very often. We talk I guess once or twice a year. But when we did, she would bring it up hey, when are you going to be an astrologer? Have you decided yet? Stuff like that. And I felt that this was like a sign in a way. And as much as I responded to her, this was not an invitation, by the way. It's not quite like that. It was a response to something that I felt was right for me. Also, another experience of responding and not waiting for the invitation, but also not really initiating as a manifestor type as well, is with regards to my current romantic relationship. When I started getting to know my partner, I felt that I did not need to wait for that emotional wave, or wait for the invitation, or wait for the emotional wave, which, you know, if you look at both my tropical and my sidereal, I'm an emotional authority. So I needed to wait for that wave to clear off. But with this particular, in this situation with my current romantic partner, it just clicked. I felt that sacral coming on. I was like, this is juicy, this is good, I know it. There was no need to wait for that emotional wave. It's right now, it's definitely feeling to me like it's been a very good decision to have made. So yeah, I can see how that sacral might play a role as well. However, the strategy of the manifestor is to inform. I don't think that is something that is hard for me to do. Since I was very young, my parents would tell me to ask for permission when I want to do something, to tell them when I want to do something. And so I think it kind of became a habit that I need to inform people, I need to tell people when I'm doing something. So it's not something that's very hard for me, but at the same time, maybe it's become a bit of a problem as well in my life to always feel like I need permission to do something. That could be a part of anger that I kept inside as well. And another thing that I want to reflect on, I feel like this is a lot, but another thing that I want to reflect on is that what I've noticed is with regards to like really close and intimate relationships in my life, that I get into a lot of power struggles with my partners. And one of the reasons for those power struggles is I feel that when people first meet me, they may sense a projector type of an aura, but the more they get emotionally closer to me, maybe that manifestor or manifesting generator aura comes out. And I've looked at the charts of past relationships that I've been in that haven't worked out very well for me. My ex-partners were generators in tropical human design and generators in sidereal. Just pure generator or emotional generator, not manifesting generator, not manifestor, none of that, just generator types. And I felt that maybe because, you know, if I had a pure projector energy, that shouldn't really be a problem. I think that would have fit in quite well with the generator energy. But I know that when I am in a relationship with people, that independence or that need to just do things my way and the emotions that kind of come up, that, you know, sometimes it can be a little bit intense. I feel like that caused my partners, my ex-partners, to want to feel like they needed to kind of make sure that I was not going out of hand, shall we say. That's where the power struggles came in. So that was just something interesting that I was thinking of. Okay. So the last thing that I want to do is just a really fun exercise that you guys can also join if you want to, is that I was scrolling through Pinterest and I found this Pinterest account. I think she's called Transformational HD Coach. She made a list of like potential challenges and superpowers of each of the types in human design. So I was looking at the challenges and the superpowers of my 3 types, and I was trying to put them in a list of like what I resonated with most and what I would resonate with least. And I'll provide you guys with a link. I think I can do that, right? In the description box below or in the comments, if you guys want to follow up with this exercise, I think it could be really fun. So when I was looking at the challenges of these 3 types, the number 1 that came on my list was the 3rd list on the manifestor challenges, and that was rebelling against control. That was like the number 1 thing that was like, yes, this I resonate with 110%, is that I don't like to be controlled, I don't like to be told what to do, and I would rebel against it. And if you guys heard the stories that I told you today, that there is definitely something there. The second on my list was actually number one of the manifestor challenge, and that was being difficult to approach. And then the third on the list was number 3 of the manifesting generator challenges for me, which was to hate interruptions. Number 4 challenges for me was a projector one, number 2 projector, that was to impose ideas on others. Either speaking too much, or another way of looking at this is to like not say anything at all. And the thing about imposing ideas on others is that the moment I never did actually when I was, before I thought I was a projector, even before I became an astrologer, I never imposed my ideas on people. But that is not because I don't have ideas. It's because I decided not to say anything. I decided to stuff everything in and not speak. But when I realized that I had a lot to share, I found a community on YouTube. And because of this community, it was like a really good outlet. So I didn't have to feel like I need to impose my ideas on other people. But I do have experience from time to time when I'm in a social setting and when I have something I want to say, it tends to, not be received firsthand very well, because it tends to be an idea that people didn't think of, and then they would kind of just be like, I disagree with you, done, end. And then I wouldn't be able to say anything else. And then it would get into like a little bit this intense energy where I do want to convince you, but you're not open to it. Kind of like that energy. It does happen from time to time. And I can give you an example of this, because I was with some people that I knew, and we were having a discussion. We were a little bit drunk, but they said something along the lines of that they didn't believe in anything in their life, that they had no belief, they had no faith. And they said faith was religious. And then at that point I said, how about the faith in yourself? And they were like, But before we got to that, there was we were kind of just, going around and around talking about religion, until a certain point I said, how about faith in yourself? And then they were kind of like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with regard to the word faith, a little bit kind of like that. So there's a little bit of that energy there. And also I've experienced the number 3 challenge of projectors quite often as well, and that is to crave attention. And kind of doing a lot of things that may not be right for me just to get attention. The superpower. I've listed the superpowers out, and the first superpower that I put as number 1 on my list of superpower was the number 5 of the manifestor, which is to be your own boss. I feel like that is something that when I am in control, when I am my own boss, I'm much happier, and I can manifest things happening in my life. I remember in 2020, I got into this meditative practice where 30 minutes every day, I would think about money in a good way, kind of like, I have money, I have abundance, I have prosperity, 30 minutes into that mindset, and doing a meditation on that. And then I started getting money. I started getting clients, I started getting money. It was kind of a little bit like magic. That's what I feel, but to be that disciplined in wanting to manifest something that I could meditate and concentrate on it and making it happen is not easy. It's not easy to be in that state of mind, because that state of mind is an emotional state of mind where there's a little bit of that ability to transcend the shadow of my emotions into the light of the emotions. But if there's a lot of things happening in my life, relationships, career, with people, and I can't lift my emotional state to that higher vibration and fall into the shadow of it, that manifestation technique is not going to work. That's kind of something interesting that I noticed. Okay, the number 2 that I put as my superpower is a projector, number 5 of the projector, which is mastering systems. This is something that I love to do, definitely. So yes, Gene Keys, Human Design, Astrology, these particular systems are what I love to do, right? You guys can see that. We're here together, mastering it together. And it's something that I actually have the physical energy to do. That's how I see this fitting in. Number 3 and number 4 that I kind of put together as my list of superpowers is going to be, it's coming from the manifesting generator and the number 1 thing of a manifester, which is multi-passionate, multitasking, and making things happen. Yes, I definitely resonate with these 2 things because even in my business right now, I like to multitask. You know, I like to do human design, astrology, Gene Keys together, for example. But at the same time, you know, I do readings, I make YouTube videos, I edit videos, but I also like to do art and paint. And so there's these various different things I like to do together at the same time. I like to cook as well, by the way. Making things happen. This, I don't know, like if any of you guys have like that manifestor aura somewhere in any of your charts, you know that to make things happen as a manifestor is something that requires a lot of empowerment. You have to really trust and empower yourselves into doing it, because exposure and kind of feeling like people may not come along with you or losing people along the way, these are fears that can really come up, right? But when I first started this business, my mom, I remember, she said to me, "What if it doesn't work, Tan? How are you going to do an online business, make money?" Because right now I'm making more money than I was actually making when I was an English teacher, and I was making quite a lot of money at that point. You know, I was living in Singapore. I was living quite well in Singapore. You had to be able to make a certain amount of money to live in Singapore. And now I'm making more money than I was making at that point. And this only took me 1 year. It took me a year to get to this. Since I started making like having a continuous income, it's only been a year. And to get to that salary that I was making in Singapore, that took me 6 years to get to that level of that salary. And it wasn't even something that I felt really resonated with my soul. Anyway, so when I first got into this online business, my mom was saying, "How are you gonna make it work? Why don't you just be a teacher in Singapore? You were making a lot of money back then. Just keep doing it. Just do that, the same thing." And now she's like, "You can make anything work. You can make anything happen that you want to. When you set your mind to it, you can make it happen." She was saying this to me a few days ago before I left Bangkok. Now I'm in the Netherlands, but before I came here. And the next thing I put on the list of the superpower is being a change maker and using unconventional approaches. So that's both coming from the manifestor superpower. And after that list, I put being curious, loving to learn, which is coming from the manifesting generator superpower. Recognizing people's gifts is next in the list. That's coming from the projector part of it. And efficiency is another thing I put down there. It's coming from the manifesting generator list as well. So anyway, guys, if you want to do this little exercise at the end, you can click in the description box below. I think I'm going to put a link there to the Pinterest account that has all these pictures. Otherwise, if that's not happening, then you can just screen capture the screen. And then make this list yourself. I think it could be fun, and then share it with the rest of us in the description box below, as well as sharing anything else that you have been sort of contemplating on with regards to how you resonate or don't really resonate with each of the human design aura types that are appearing in your different body graphs. I'm waiting to read it from you guys. I think it's going to be a super interesting kind of introspection and discussion that we could be having here. Okay, so I think that's going to be it for this video. In the next video, I think I'm going to talk about either the incarnation cross or the profiles of the 3 body graphs that have come up for me and for you guys as well. Okay, have a beautiful day, beautiful souls. Bye.